we can get started. And here it goes. Welcome to the show. I'm Ansony Sieh hosting. This is the Hour of Politics. Let's get started. Welcome and welcome. Our topic for today is the Executive Mansion renovation, a paragon of corruption and failures by successive governments in the Republic of Liberia. And of course, we are broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you for joining me here as we go into this very important topic that we have packaged for you. On my right hand side, I hope I get that right, is the Executive Mansion. Beautiful architecture, right? Perfectly designed, solid build, one of the best buildings that you can think about in the Republic of Liberia. But I'm not sure you are happy with this building anymore. I'm not sure you are. I am not. This building, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the renovation of this building. That is what our focus going to be on. That is why we are focused on Liberia, came up with this topic, the Executive Mansion renovation, a paragon of corruption and failures. Let's get started, folks. So, the Executive Mansion, first of all, we want to let you know, was constructed from 1960 to 1963. You might be wondering who built the Executive Mansion. We try to give you a little history, and then we'll come to the corruption aspect of it so you can know what has been happening since this building was built for Liberia. Can we just ask this question? Was this building built to be a curse for our country or a blessing? Was it built for us to enhance the work of government, especially the executive branch of government, to be effective in the discharge of its duties as the executive branch of government? Or was it built so that it would become what somebody called this milk cow of corruption in Liberia? And I will share with you who said that as we go on in this discussion. So President William Shadrach Tubman built the Executive Mansion in the early 1960s. In 1964, he moved in. He lived there for 7 years before his death in 1971 at the age of 75. So this is the building that houses the executive branch of government. In other words, this building is the representation of the executive branch of government. And it was built by William Arrow Tubman. Old man Tubman built this in the 60s, to be specific, between 1960 and 1963. So he took 3 years to build this particular building. And for some of you who may not know, how much did Tubman spend to build this beautiful executive mansion of ours? $9 million spent by President Tubman on the executive mansion at 3 years. In other words, in 3 years. So $9 million spent in 3 years period. And that beautiful architecture you're looking at right there was built. If you can't see it clear, let me do you a favor. Yeah, it is. Isn't that beautiful, folks? Doesn't this building represent the country that we are all proud of, so to speak? It definitely is. So Tubman built it. 1960 to 1963, it took 3 years. He spent $9 million and he built it. And from our understanding, in 1964, he moved in. So the E-Mansion, as it is now affectionately called, is the official residence and office of Liberia's president. So whoever is president, this building is not only where the office of the president is, but it has also been the official residence of the president of the Republic of Liberia. It was built for those two key purposes. One, to serve as an official residence of Liberia's president, and also to house the offices of the presidency of the Republic of Liberia. Isn't that beautiful? So, Omar Todman, we can all debate about how despotic he was, how a dictator he was, how he had controlled everything. That argument is a dead argument. It's a great piece of history that we can all read and talk about. But he left this building with us. That is an achievement that we should be using purposefully for the effectiveness of the administration of the executive branch of government's affairs. But hey, fast forward, sorry there. So the executive mansion have been around. But our topic that we are discussing, let me remind you, is the renovation of the executive mansion. And we are saying it's a paragon of corruption and failures. So folks, so what is the history when it comes to the renovation of the executive mansion? Has president in the past done some renovation work on the executive mansion? Let's come to that piece of history. That piece of history, it is also good for us to know. So let's talk about the history of e-mansion renovation. All right. So since the completion of the executive mansion in 1963 by Omen Todman, there have been three major renovation works done by presidents in the past. Let me give you the history so that when you leave from here, you will be informed and empowered about this piece of architecture that represents the executive branch of government. But as said earlier, a representative of the House of Representatives in the Republic of Liberia says something that I want to bring to your attention before I jump into the history. Representative Larry P. Yonkwe. Executive mansion is a milk cow for leaders in Liberia. That is what Representative Larry Yonkwe said about the renovation work of this executive mansion. He said it has become this milk cow of leaders in Liberia, meaning leader come and gone. We fantasized, we made efforts, we intend to renovate it, but at the end of the day, they go from what we've seen by evidence seems to be the fact that they are trying to milk it like a cow. But I'll leave that there. But I want you to have that in your mind as I do this presentation and analysis of this topic to see whether or not the statement by Representative Yonkwe is actually factual. I want to believe so, but I can't conclude or come to that conclusion until I bring you all the facts. This thing is ugly, it's messy, and I want you to have that information today. You may have listened to somebody, but you're not going to get it the way we give it to you here. So let's go to the history of renovation. All right. The history of the renovation of the executive mansion is depressing, folks. Very, very depressing. So as I was saying, since the completion of the executive mansion, there have been three major rehabilitation works done. Number one, the first renovation rehabilitation work was executed during 1988 and 1989 under the government of the late President Samuel Kanyando. Now, Doe became president. He carried on renovation. And I want you to know that. So between 1988 and 1989, Doe carried on some rehabilitation work to maintain the executive mansion in a befitting condition, representing the Republic of Liberia. Number two, the second renovation work was executed during the tenure of former President Charles Taylor. Even your guy Gange, the guy who is serving 50 years in prison today, the guy who was a dictator par excellence, he himself will make some effort to renovate the building. Why? That building is an important institution in the country. It houses the executive branch of our government. So it was prudent, it was wise, like though for Taylor to have done some renovation work. So yes, 1997 and 1998, when Charles Taylor took over, Gange did some work. Fast forward, the government of Liberia initiated the third renovation on the executive mansion under President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. You know, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, folks in the Unity parties, and some of you who are fans of her, will glamorize about her achievements, her ability to project herself as a leader, how she had this command over governance. Whether or not you are right, but the facts are here to tell you or not. So there has been renovation work done, government after government. But this is what I want you to know. Like Samuel Doe, Charles Taylor, when Ellen took over in 2006, the need to renovate the executive mansion also became a priority for her. Why? Let's go to some history again. So, folks, if you can remember, Mother Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, when she was fighting the Doe government, she was a key agitator for the ousting of Doe from power, whatever means it had called for. And after, according to history, coup attempts on the life of Doe to get Doe out of power have failed, even though some of those coups have been debunked. Some were staged merely according to our historians. But there were some efforts, some attempts to get Doe out of power. We know that because when those efforts did not materialize, I mean, many of you are aware of the coup by the guy that tried to overthrow Samuel Doe. I think Wesen, not Wesen, Thomas Kuyokwa. Thank you, I got that. You know, so Kuyokwa then made some effort. My understanding is that they succeeded halfway, but I don't know, there was a blown and only way. That too did not materialize. So after all these efforts to get Doe out of power did not succeed, a rebel war will come to pass. And key among the organizers of this particular rebellion was also the Madame Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. History is sweet, right? So let me bring this to your attention. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, at some point, made a statement sometime in 2017 that became a key campaign issue, which was that Ellen has once said during the Civil War, gave him more like an instruction to then the MPFL, headed by Charles Taylor at the time, that level the executive mansion and we will rebuild it. You remember that? This beautiful building, Ellen was on record, and something she did not deny, but she tried to kind of deflect on it, and I'll bring you that piece of information. So yes, it was true. Ellen made comment that level the executive mansion and we will rebuild it. So the key question here is that who was Ellen to be calling for the leveling of the executive mansion? Bear you in mind, this executive mansion was built in 3 years by Old Man Todman. This executive mansion was built with $9 million. Bear those two pieces of information in mind as we go. So yes, Ellen said that. And when she said that, what happened? Here's the statement. Ellen Saliv, level Morovia, we will rebuild it and not level the executive mansion. Now, let me explain that for you. At a certain time, Ellen Johnson Saliv tried to give her version of this statement that became known in Liberia, that Ellen had once said, level the executive mansion and we will rebuild it. When Ellen had the opportunity to comment on this statement that had been attributed to her, she said she did not say level the executive mansion. Instead, according to Ellen's own words, level Morovia and we will rebuild it. As though saying that level Morovia was even a better statement by the madam. It wasn't. By any stretch of imagination, it wasn't a good statement. But many of you might be wondering, what is this executive mansion? So before I continue, let me bring you something that we all need to watch. And then after that, I will bring you the information. So let's watch and see what is the executive mansion. Many of you see the pictures of it on the internet. Many of you have not gone into the building. I've had the opportunity to enter that building. But let me show you how magnificent this building looks. Let's watch.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, like a roast, like a gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past and the pettiness. A reflection of the emptiness, hilarious. You think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you are behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love and make a statement. Gotta learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable. Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
Folks, the video is not done yet. You need to watch this. You need to see this for the first time. Those of you who haven't seen it, watch. All right, folks, because of time, let me stop it right there. I think you have seen a little more of this beautiful, beautiful building constructed by old man Tuckman in 1960 to 1963, when he spent just $9 million, and it was built within a period of 3 years. That is the building. That is the beautiful architecture. Ellen was on record for saying, level it and we will rebuild it. Little did we know, folks, that this very madam will become president, and the executive mansion that she wanted leveled will become a task for her not to even rebuild, folks, just to renovate it. Can you imagine how life goes, folks? She was talking about rebuilding. My understanding of rebuilding is when you are rebuilding something, you get rid of everything that have been part of it and start anew, afresh, from bottom to top to finish. That is my understanding of the word rebuilt. So Madame wanted this thing to be leveled and to be rebuilt. But fortunately for her, folks, all she needed to do was to renovate, right? But let me bring the debate about whether or not she actually said level the executive mansion. Ellen denied, as I was saying, when she had the opportunity to comment on that popular statement that was attributed to her, that the madam has said, giving instruction to then the MPFL, level the executive mansion and we will rebuild it. That was the statement that was attributed to her. But the madam came to clean it up. For some reason, somehow, this quote-unquote Harvard-educated, brilliant woman got some sense of understanding that the statement that was attributed to her that leveled the executive mansion, she said that statement, according to her own words, was a stupid statement. And the madam went on to say, no, I actually did not say level the executive mansion. Unquote. What I actually said, according to Ellen Johnson, was level Morovia. The madam, how in any way in your right mind, those of you listening to me, level the executive mansion is of more gravity than saying level Morovia. The executive mansion was a building, though very significant for our country. But when you are saying, you did not say level the executive mansion, and instead you said level Morovia, which of the two had your instruction been implemented who have caused so much casualty, madam? I guess leveling Morovia was more disastrous, more consequential compared to saying level the executive mansion. Why? Because Morovia, for the most part, have had around 900 to 1 million residents, or from 500,000 to 1 million residents. And so had Morovia been leveled, madam, that meant thousands of citizens who have gotten killed. But here is the thing. In what capacity was she speaking at the time? Somebody might be wondering. We'll get to this corruption thing, folks. Let me give you the history. Why we have to talk about this. So here is it, folks. So to conclude on that point, Ellen said she didn't say level the executive mansion. She actually said level Morovia, as though leveling Morovia was any good compared to level the executive mansion. But from what we know, she actually made the statement level the executive mansion. And those of you who just, saw the beauty of the executive mansion for the first time, the beauty of that architecture, the interior alone, classic, one of the best buildings ever built in our country. And that building was intended for the executive branch of government. But Ellen would dare say level 8 will build it. Okay, madam, you don't have to build it. Later on, she will have the opportunity to renovate. And even at that, did she achieve that? We will get to that, folks. So let me progress here. In what capacity was she speaking at the time? According to Tomo Woyoyo, Ellen acted as the commander-in-chief of the MPFL forces when she ordered the attack on Monrovia. The order that leveled the executive mansion. According to Thomas Woyoyo, who was also a founding member of the defunct MPFL, Ellen was speaking in her capacity as the commander-in-chief. Chad Taylor was just the executioner of the onslaught on our people, but Ellen was the commander-in-chief. So in her capacity as commander-in-chief, then for the MPFL, she had given this instruction. Though was in the executive mansion, her target was though she felt that mission would have been accomplished had though been eliminated from the executive mansion. This is to the level the madam will go for power. And this beautiful architecture, she will have the guts to give instruction for it to be level. Fast forward, folks. Thus initiating Operation Octopus in 1992. And some of you who are familiar, who have read some transcript about that octopus, it was deadly. It was terrible. It was debilitating. Bodies were seen in the streets of Monrovia because the madam instruction that leveled the executive mansion was being implemented. She had given that instruction, according to Thomas Woyoyo, as commander-in-chief of the then MPFL. But you Liberians will go and elect this woman. So the executive mansion, blessedly, somebody will say, for us as a country, was never leveled. But maybe she was right to say, I told them to level Monrovia. So Monrovia was leveled in 1992 in Operation Octopus upon the instruction of your madam. And you folks in the Unity Party will come and lecture her about achievement. Really. We'll see some of the achievement on the renovation work here. And those of you who in the Unity Party who have no shame whatsoever about the political crimes and the corruptions that took place in your government, and today you are hiding under the canopy of a CPP, good luck. Some of you might be thinking this guy is trying to spoil our show. What show are you talking about? I'm not in the business with you. I'm in the business of reporting information that show the Liberian people who our leaders are. I have no fee to fry in your politics of parties and all that. My politics is about Liberia. Fast forward, folks. So, blessedly for us, the executive mansion was not level. So the mandate did not have to rebuild, but rather to renovate. So we will come to renovation. But there's a piece of information. The mandate is a liar by career. She's a career liar. This madam will say during one of her exchanges, so to speak, that she only contributed 10,000, and she intellectualized the discussion by saying it was a humanitarian gesture. Humanitarian gesture at the very start of organizing the rebellion, you call that humanitarian gesture? That was what she said. So we're talking about early 10,000 contribution versus 25,000 and 500,000. Again, Thomas Woyoyo said to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, you are not telling the truth. Your actual contribution, initial contribution, was $25,000 through a consultant you happen to be part of. And then after, according to Thomas Warrior, Ellen contributed a total of $500,000, $500,000. Why? In his effort to not only destabilize our country, a war that robbed me of my future, and many of you and your children, destroy our country, led to the death of 250,000 people. That was the Madame contribution. And finally, in her effort to level this mansion, she would then have the opportunity to come and at least renovate and not rebuild. So Ellen will later on come up with a crocodile apology. So let's talk about Ellen's apology. And at some point when she had the opportunity to address the issue, the Madame only said, oh, I apologize. I regret making, quote, stupid comment. She said her comment was stupid after she justified that she did not get instruction for the executive mansion to be level. Instead, Morovia to be level. She said her comment, quote, was a stupid comment. Yes, indeed, Madame, we have some agreement. It was not only stupid, it was silly, it was uncalled for, and the consequences of this statement that you made, Madame, got thousands of people on this ground today in an untimely fashion. And yet, you will be given the opportunity to become the leader of our country. And you will have the opportunity to correct your wrong, the stupid statement that you have made, to correct it, to renovate, not to rebuild this very executive mansion. And folks, when that happened, what did the Madame do? Many of you might be wondering. So the question that I'm asking right now is, why is the renovation of the mansion taking us 2 presidents, 2 vice presidents, 2 political parties and more since Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, 15 years, and so much money? Why? Why is it taking us 2 separate governments, in any case 2 terms, 12 years, and adding our current president, President George Weah, 3 years, making a total of 15? Why is it taking us this long? I told you the history. Doe came and did renovation in 1988 to 1989. Charles Taylor came, he did some renovation in 1997 and 1998. Charles Taylor did some renovation. And after the renovations were done, the building was used. So let me bring this part too, folks. So Doe renovated the building. So the transitional government, when they had the 5-man council or so, they were using the building. Julie Bryan came after Charles Taylor. Because Charles Taylor did some renovation work, the building was used by Julie Bryan. And the Madame came and took power in 2006. The building was useful, at least, not until that fateful July 26th of 2006, during the Independence Day celebration, when that building got that fire. Now there's a debate as to whether what the government had told us, that it was an electrical breakdown that enacted the fire, whereas some people are considering it as an arson attack. Arson meaning, when somebody staged a fire attack on purpose. That's what some people are saying. And that debate is yours for you to look into it, folks. So the Madame in 2006, when that building was gutted by fire, Embarrassingly for the country, when we have foreign dignitaries celebrating our independence akin to the wisdom of the Madame, to again not rebuild but renovate this executive mansion, folks. So, talking about two governments, right, to renovate this particular building. I'm talking, when I said two government, I'm talking about President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and Nan Weir. This is where the corruption aspect I want to talk about, thereby bringing us to our topic, the executive mansion renovation, a paragon of corruption and failures. So what did the Madam do? Now, let me also bring you another exciting piece of history. Our nation will be embarrassed again when President George Bush came to visit Liberia in 2008. Bush danced alongside Mr. Sirleaf. When Bush came, Bush could not enter the executive mansion that's supposed to be the official residence of the president, where the president is supposed to also welcome dignitaries and foreign guests. It was not available because 2 years later, the Madame, who was advocating for this executive mansion to be leveled and rebuilt, this time she had the opportunity to renovate. She was not able to renovate the executive mansion. 2 years later, we had George Bush, and George Bush could not be welcomed in the State House, folks. And so what happened? They went at the grounds of the executive mansion. As embarrassing as that was the best the Madame could do. So George Bush was welcome in the grounds of the executive mansion, and they never went inside because inside was not conducive. The thing had got a fire. 2 years later, the work was not done. Again, the Madame had the opportunity to only renovate and not the rebuild that she had called for, folks. Facts forward. So let me share with you here. President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and UP, meaning Unity Party, at 12 years, budgeted and spent a total of 32.4 million to renovate this executive mansion to a usable state. And yet, despite this amount of money being spent in 12 years period, the Madame has failed to renovate, even though she had called for rebuilding. Now, folks, let me do something here for you. So this is the executive mansion when it had got fire in 2006 of July. That is how it was looking at the time. I don't know how it's looking now, but that is how it was looking. And since 2006, the Unity Party and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf have been renovating this particular building. So when renovation work had kicked off, this is the executive mansion. So let me make it big for you folks to see it. You see that? Serious and massive renovation work going on, right? You see the barbed wires all around it. And so that was when they were spending the millions on the money, on the building. giving Liberians the hope. They budgeted this money to renovate this building. So, folks, there is the madam. She and our current president, Mr. George Matawia, sitting right there, having what somebody will call a tete-a-tete, right? And so, still talking about it, madam, let me bring back the mansion now. I want you folks to be able to see this building. It's a beautiful building. See it as I do my presentation. So, there you have it. So, the Unity Party and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf 32.4 million, and they failed to get the job done. Now, if you want the breakdown of what they did, let me bring you what happened. So, folks, after the building got a fire, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf hold on, let me bring you something that is very significant to the discussion. And yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. So let me start from here. So the executive mansion, the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration, let me remind you, actually spend what? 32.4 million. That's what they spent. Now let's come to the audit aspect that some of you have been, the corruption aspect, right? The GSC also conducted an audit report. There was an audit report conducted. GSC observed during the audit that US 5 million of the payment made on the various contracts did not contain supporting document during the fiscal year 2012-2014. So I'm reading this to bring to your attention that there was an audit done. Now, it was requested by the president of Liberia and commissioned by the Auditor General under the signatory mandate of the Auditor General as provided for under Section 2.1.3 of the GSC Act of 2014. So the madam took over in 2006, right? Renovation work, started sometime thereabout after the fire got it. And then the GSC Act passed. And so at some point, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was furious. So renovation work had been ongoing from the time they started, and the work was not completed. And folks, I will tell you, the audit covers from July 1st of 2006 to December 31st of 2015. And the audit was requested by Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Because when the work started somewhere in 2006 to renovate the building, it was not about 2005, somewhere thereabout, and the building was not completed. And for your information, about 7 contracts were dished out by the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration. 7 separate contracts were dished out by the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration. Let me make you to understand that. So, folks, now the news was filtering in the papers. Liberians this time were paying attention. It was becoming embarrassing for the madam. And then what happened? Let me bring you something, show you the renovation picture. There is the madam. There is the madam there. So no, that is not that. Hold on here, folks. Let me bring you. All right, this is what I was looking for, folks. There you have it. Let me make it big for you to see. So, Front Page Africa will go to report Executive Mansion renovation project over US $10 million wasted. GAC audit fines. And in bold letters, gross waste on e-mansion. And Front Page released this report or reported this following the General Auditing Commission's report, a report that was requested by Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf requested that we need to audit this renovation work that is going on at the Executive Mansion. And when the report came out, the GSC report had discovered that $10 million was wasted. No accountability, no trace of this money whatsoever. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was not happy. She was furious. And let me quickly find something on my phone that I need to tell you here quickly. Bear with me here. So, folks, Ellen was not happy about it. And what I wanted to tell you was that if you go on the Executive Mansion website, you will see that Ellen herself, after she received the audit report, according to an Executive Mansion release, that information is on the Executive Mansion website as we speak. I could show it to you, but because of time, I have to make progress here. Ellen said she assured the Liberian people that actions would be taken and that she was reviewing that report. She was going to take action after reviewing the report. Ellen left power. Apparently, she didn't complete the review, and so she couldn't take any action, folks. This is a woman some of you will come and shower praises on. But it's your choice. That's how you show your love for Liberia. So the madam, folks, could not take action. She had requested this audit because the embarrassment that this renovation effort had brought to the government. Their work was going on ended. The job could not be done. They were spending millions upon millions. And according to the GSC report, 7 different contracts were awarded by the Unity Party and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for the renovation of the Executive Mansion. And yet, folks, the job was not done. 7 different contracts were awarded. And yet, the job was not done. And Ellen, who has called for the audit, who had assured the Liberian people that there will have been accountability on the misuse and squandering of the money, could not complete a review of that audit report before talking about even taking action. So at the time, the GSC observed US $8 million was appropriated for fiscal year 2006-2007. 2006 was when the fire got at the building. So she initiated budgetary effort immediately. So in the 2006-2007 budget year, they put money there. So as I was reading earlier, for fiscal year 2006 and 2007, through 2009-2010 for the Executive Mansion renovation project, per the approved national budgets without evidence of allotment. What they're saying is that between the years, there was allotment made, and of those allotments, $8 million. Folks, no evidence of where the money went, even though that money was budgeted for the renovation of the executive mansion. Now, some people had it that for each time the madam will budget for the executive mansion, at some point they will pull back the money and say, oh, there was some priority somewhere. So she kept kicking the can down the road. But kicking the can down the road, some bad things were going on, according to the audit report. So, folks, this is not looking pretty. Now, let's bring you some numbers. Let's come to the money. How they carry on these budgetary allotments that could not be accounted for as established by the GSC report that the mandant had requested. The mandant had promised to review and take action, and yet she will not take action. And then folks in the unity parties and the apologists will come and lecture us about achievement. Get away from me with your achievements. You can lecture somebody else. So, folks, the GAC, a 2016 GAC report of the executive mansion renovation, raised serious red flags. And I just shared some of them with you. So let's look at the numbers. So in the fiscal year 2018 and 2019, no, this one is for George Malawia. So let's not jump to George Malawia. So Ellen, again, 32.4 million, right? So in the fiscal year 2016, 2017, this is the amount that was budgeted by Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. You see 16 million. Fast forward, in the 2017, 2018, $8 million. So from the 2006 to 2010 GSC audit reports, about $8 million could not be accounted for. So what we're saying to you is the Ellen Bwaka Unity Party total that they spent on the renovation of the executive mansion was $32 million or $32.4 million or $32.4 million. That is what the Ellen Bwaka Unity Party spent. These folks were just dishing out money on renovation efforts of the executive mansion, and the job could not get done. And folks come to think about it. The executive mansion is right in the heart of Monrovia. Can you imagine that? The building was right there. We are talking about a government that had United Nations mission in the country, helping nearly in every sector. And the building that was right there in the heart of the city, Unity Party, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, will spend all the much money on renovation efforts. And they will not get it done, folks. They will not get it done. They will not get the job done, folks. That's what they did. So this is the executive mansion. Now, they gave us the impression that they were doing some renovation work, as you can see right there. But what happened to all that renovation work? That renovation work, folks, nothing came out of all that effort. They spent a total of $32.4 million, and the building is not available for use, folks. So, fast forward, President George Manawia would take over in 2008, following the 2018, following the 2017 general and presidential elections. So the thing is, did President Weah and the CDC demonstrate any seriousness? No. Those guys are a bunch of jokers. Why do I call them jokers? These guys were yelling all over the place. Ellen is corrupt. And you took over from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. This is Ellen that had called for an audit on the executive mansion. The audit report came out way before CDC was elected. CDC pay attention to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf saying that we will review the report and we'll do something. Ellen did nothing. So it's not that there is not an audit report that reflects all the corruption that took place. It is not that you don't have the record. The GSC report is still available today. A serious government will go to that report, go line by line, and try to ask the necessary questions and try to hold people accountable. And that is what I call them jokers. The audit report was dummy. The madam could not take any action because she knew her government was guilty. And you come to power. This is a government that did everything. Not that she did everything, but she was actually caught. The Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration was caught massively stealing the money in the name of renovation. And the audit report couldn't have been so telling. And the madam will not do anything about it because she couldn't excuse herself of the massive corruption that took place concerning the $32.4 million. I mean, what could she have said? Blame Amara, the finance minister then, or blame somebody else, whoever the finance minister was at that time? She could not. Because they were acting upon her instruction. It was her job to check on them, to have ensured that the instruction that she had given them, they were implementing it. And let me bring to your memory, it was Ellen Johnson Sirleaf who has said, level the executive mansion and we will rebuild it. So she knew what she was talking about here. She had this glorious opportunity to have redeemed herself, to have corrected something she said that she had considered a stupid statement, something that had many Liberians under the ground today, something that brought about the autopsy of 1992, where many Liberians got killed. It was her statement that leveled the executive mansion and will rebuild it. This woman had the excellent opportunity. Money was not the problem, because as we've seen so far, since 2006, every budget here, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and the Unity Party budgeted money for the renovation of the executive mansion. And yet, the Unity Party, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, will not get the job done. The money they spend, I can say to you, was a complete waste. The audit report requested by the madam said, according to the newspaper that I showed earlier, and I'm going to show it to you again, gross waste on e-mansion. And the text that is small that you cannot recognize, folks, say over US $10 million wasted. GSC audit report finds. This is the kind of corruption, folks, that the Unity, and this is just a tiny piece of it. And some of our friends will come here and lecture us that it was the best government ever. Damn it. So, Representative Larry Youngwell could not be succinct. He could not be succinct. He could not be point on. He couldn't have nailed it properly when he said, and I quote, executive mansion is a making cow for leaders in Liberia. So this is the cow, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and her official and the Unity Party. They were milking it. If they think I'm lying, why couldn't they have acted on the audit report to have established who stole the money? They wasted the money. The building can be used. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf will abandon the executive mansion and move to the foreign ministry. And she will stay there. And she will stay there throughout her time. I don't know why. So Representative Larry Yankwa was right. So folks, this is the sad story about the executive mansion's renovation. This is what the Unity Party has done. And I will not stop talking about it. Because today, they are coming in different clothes, trying to tell us they are some kind of political prophets. They're coming again as saviors. They're coming to save you again. They saved you the first time, right? And so, folks, the fourth renovation effort was initiated by President George Malawiya. President Weah, who will not demonstrate seriousness, the CDC will not demonstrate seriousness. They will not go to that audit report. They will not try to find out what actually went wrong, for which after 12 years of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf renovation efforts, they will not find out why the job was not done. Will start budgeting themselves. Immediately upon taking office in 2018, they budgeted $5 million. But then they came to their senses in 2019, 2020, they budgeted zero. I don't know whether they were trying to do some audit debt or to pick up the audit report to do something about it. Whatever the reason was, I have no idea. Apparently because of coronavirus or so. But then, folks, then they came back. 2020, 2021, they chunked $1 million there. They are yet to find out what happened to the millions the Unity Party spent. Oh, how would they do it anyway? After all, now Mr. President has given the Madame 80%, right, performance. Nothing wrong with that, right? So the CDC and the WIA renovation total came to 6.5 million. So folks, there where we are today. The executive mansion has become like a milk cow. From early to where renovation works have been going on. The Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration had awarded 7 different contracts. 7 different contracts. By 2016, the Ellen government had awarded 7 contracts for the renovation of the executive mansion, amounting to 31.7 million, the audit report discovered. So by 2016, 7 contracts were awarded by the Ellen administration, the Unity Party. And what happened? The job was not done. Today, the executive mansion cannot be used. And our current president, President George Malawiya, is renovating it. So folks, there you have it. And some of you who might be wondering whether or not Ellen has said that sometime back about leveling the mansion, I'll bring you a news article that captured that. Here's the article. Level Morovia, we will rebuild. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And that was Tom Wawayu trying to challenge Ellen Johnson Sirleaf that she actually did not say level Morovia. She said level the executive mansion. So if you read that article, you see that Ellen actually said those words, that level the mansion and we will rebuild it. Folks in cyberspace, again, my name is Ansony Sieh. I brought you another exciting edition of the Hour of Politics here at Focus on Liberia, where we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. I will be coming to your comments now So bear with me. Let me do something here quickly, and then I will come to your comments. Bear with me. Let me do something quickly here so I can read some of your comments. Yep. I will soon come to your comments, folks. Yep. I will soon come to your comments. Your comments are very necessary. We want to be able to read your comments. All right. Let's bring in some comments from you, folks. I know some of you have been very, very busy here. A lot of comments, and then we will call it a day. Sieh Thompson, watching from work in Houston. You are your own happy man, Ansony Sieh. I don't know what you mean by that. But you have Sieh again, the Senator Sewell. You read it today, yeah. I'm in my pro poll. Let's hear from George Fremont. Thanks for the education, Chief. Liberian people with their chief. Francis Hinton Sr. writes, this generation don't know the history of Liberia. Without understanding the history of Liberia, it is very difficult to make a substantial contribution. That is why I brought that history. I don't know whether you're trying to suggest that I did not state the history right, but I brought the history so succinctly I can make that argument. Hey, but Crook Ellen didn't say when she will complete the construction. Well, let me bring Anthony Gay, the detailing of this state-of-the-art building. That was when we were showing the video. Anthony, again, that's the presidential suite right there. Certainly, that is classed. This is where President Cummings will be residing very soon. Well, we'll see that. St. Charles Taylor, Judy Bryan left the mansion. I'm not sure who else. I've been there. Ellen couldn't stay there. But yeah, from Tanon Gibson, keeping in mind all the oppositions and challenges, we need to get started on the Bali Island unless there's no money. I read an article on front page that said we actually got the funding from India, and this was like 2 years ago. I visited this building in 1973. I was not born yet. Comfort, Henry writes. 1973, Tobo's presidency. It was beautiful. Indeed, it is a beautiful building. Let's hear from Ben Wesonga Kamara. Executive Mansion is part of Morovia. What's the difference? Talk to me about that. So what level Executive Mansion or level Morovia, no different. They get guys making a logical argument. I agree with that. Exactly what I've been saying to our people. Hold real corrupt people accountable and promote development. That is what we are saying here. We need to hold them accountable. Let's hear from Quando. A euphemistic different without a distinction. He's trying to be a little bit philosophical there. These are some of the reasons why we want these people investigated by bringing and implementing the TRC recommendation. I couldn't agree more. Let's hear from Garrison and Yinen. I hope I got that right. If she instructed to level Morovia, where is the executive mansion located? If Morovia is level automatically, there will be no executive mansion. She made the statement to level the executive mansion. Her MPFF was going to rebuild it. Liberians are still alive. That is true. She said that. Anthony Gay, let Cummings win the CPP primary first. Nonsense. Oh, that's a good statement there, but the nonsense thing, that's the man promoting his candidate, man. But your statement is right that let him win the primary first before we talk about the presidency, right? Please state her name, Manda Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. I don't know, you're telling me to state Ellen Johnson Sirleaf's name. Her name is Ellen. I don't have to put Madame there. If you think I'm being disrespectful, it's your cup of tea. When she was born, they named her Ellen. I'm in the Western world. People call Trump Trump. We call Joe Biden Joe. What is this with these Liberian people, man? What? Title, and we have gotten nowhere. Let me make progress. Here, let's hear from the man Robert G. Camara. The executive mansion was destroyed by fire on 26 July 2006 during the 159th anniversary celebration of the adaptation of the Liberian Declaration of Independence. President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, in office 2006 to 2018, was at the time 15 foreign guests and dignitaries in the garden of the executive mansion, Liberia. Yep, yeah, from Chris Gay, Anthony Gay. Oh, I don't want to read this thing about comments. Let's talk about what we are talking about. Let me hear from Anthony. JMB said they squander a lot of opportunities. Yeah, Omen JB said that. Sarah here, gross waste is making it look good. That's gross stealing. I couldn't agree with you. If you have the evidence, then I will join you to say gross looting. Why can't you speak about the well-being of the Liberian people? Somebody is telling me to speak about the well-being of the Liberian people. Maybe you should too. I have a lot of things to talk about, and this one is today. Excellent presentation of the facts. Ansony Panado is giving me some compliments here. Thank you for giving me that compliment. Please give me some criticism. I want to be better. I don't like praises. Sieh, I love your show, bro. I think you are free position, man. Yeah, I'm a free position. I have no position. My job is to make sure that people who want to lead us or represent us in government do the right thing by the Liberian people. So why the we are government isn't auditing the past government of Ellen? They can't, because they too have started eating money too for the same mansion. We are government has eaten 6 to 7 million too for the same executive mansion serve for the country. Well, we are government around 6.5 so far, they have budgeted. There's not an audit report here, by the way. So we don't know here, but the thing is that they have put some money together. They are following the steps of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. We just hope that they will not end up like Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, putting money in the budget for this renovation work, and then the job is not done. We don't want to see that. Chris, you saying wetting eating is you say wetting eating? Funny, our government will never and have never eaten e-mansion money in any other way. So help Mighty Congress for Democratic Change, CDC for life. We will correct their mistakes. Check up. Well, start checking the mistakes. The audit report is right there. It was released by the General Auditing Commission. Start with that one, then we'll know that you're serious. It's been 3 years now. You guys still dancing around the subject. Why can't you speak about it? Oh, okay, I think I read that earlier. Some people want to tell me, yeah, we'll speak about the well-being of the Liberian people. If you want to talk about that, many of them don't have jobs. Unemployment is in the roof. All right, so many people, transportation is so expensive for our people. Life is difficult, especially those of them who really don't have jobs. That is the reality in Liberia today. And that is the reality of, let's bring you some advertisement here. So tomorrow, focus on Liberia. Our program, Roundtable Africa. Roundtable Africa comes on tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We will be discussing the state of injustice in Africa. You do not want to miss it. Sekou Keller and Edward Amara will be here. I will be moderating. Also, folks, focus on Liberia, making the case for Joseph Yimambuaka, Pa Zawiye. Edo Zawiye will be here on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. GMT. Zawiye is a supporter of Joseph Yimambuaka. He will be joining me, Ansony Sieh, and my partner, Dennis Jah, as he makes the case for the presidency of Joseph Yimambuaka. He is in trouble, but he said he can handle it. Also on Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, the world runner Dennis Jah will sit with Fubi Herrings. He will sit with Ansu Dualu and Dr. Morris Kofa, and they will be talking trash, talking about debt in Morovia. Greater Monrovia trash, the impact, responsible parties, and possible solutions. Last but not the least, on Thursday, woo, I like this one. Current issues. This one is called Tough Talking Thursdays. That's where the panelists come tough on the issues. APN Terminal, Norwegian government grant, COP Wahala. Liberian government is opening an embassy in the United Arab Emirates. Then SKD Complex Wahala. You don't want to miss it. The panelists are coming. They are coming tough. The lawmakers, as many of you might be aware, are expressing regret for ratifying the bad deal. They call it, said to ratify a very bad deal, and they are regretting for doing that. You don't want to miss this, folks. You do not want to mix it, folks. Please come. Now, let me show you this other advertisement here. Then we will call it a day. So let me show this one, folks, for you. There is a show that is coming on Thursday with me and Dr. Bagba. So Dr. Bagba will be here with me on Thursday, and we will be discussing the Maryland County ritualistic killing fracas. All right. Focus on Liberia along with peace advocate Dr. Joseph Bagba takes a holistic look at the recent Maryland County ritualistic killing fracas. You want to get all the details. What happened in Maryland County, the burning of homes, the incarceration of protesters, and all that. You do not want to miss it, and we'll give you updates what's happening. People are in jail as we speak, and we want to bring you that information. You do not want to miss it. Folks, we want to say thank you so very much for your participation here, as always. Here at Focus on Liberia, I'm Ansony Sieh, and I brought you yet another exciting edition of our programs here at Focus on Liberia, the program, The Hour of Politics. There is a song that says, "We are all Liberians." That song is taking us home right now. Until I catch you again on yet another edition of the Hour of Politics, follow us on the shows that I have advertised, and we will have you informed. Thank you, folks, and bye-bye.